Hiya, we're on to part 2 of making this top-down adventure game. Probably be the last part. It's a fairly short tutorial. So last time we actually made the room, we made all the graphics, and now we're going to start making all the objects. So I think the first thing we'll do is get the player. So we're going to click on objects and right click, create object. Let's call this O player, the object player. For the object player, choose the sprite, choose S player. So we've got the sprite. So now go to your instances layer on your level, go to your asset browser and drag O player into the map somewhere. Again, the grid's not snapping, so not lined up. So change the grid to 16 by 16, and now we can place the player. So let's just place the player there. I'm going to do some more objects. Create object O potion, and I'm going to go back to my instances layer. On my potion, I'm going to choose the S potion sprite. So on my instances layer with the assets, I'm going to drag a couple of potions into the room. We've got the door already, but what we're going to work on now is, first of all, just the player movement, and then we'll add the door in the next level and so on. So let's just run the game just to see that everything's on the screen and right. Okay, so that looks okay. It doesn't do anything. We're going to turn this red layer off in a little while. So now let's get the player moving. So into O player, we're going to add an event. So add event, we're going to do everything in the step event, and we're going to use GML code. So in the step event, this is where this object's code is processed every frame. So I'm just going to zoom in. So description, let's call this main step. And what that does, it updates this here. So you could put what you like in there. So let's just see if we can zoom in. So the first thing we need to do is keyboard checks. Okay, we're going to have a variable. Whoops, not like that. We'll call it up equals keyboard check. So I think we just need keyboard check. We're going to check, I'll just zoom in a bit more. So we're going to check for key or W. So we're going to check for key. Have we pressed W? I'll copy this code and we're going to put down and we'll do S. Have we pressed S? Now, we're probably going to want to test this in a second. So this is the y-axis. So we'll call this var y direction equals, and then what we're going to do, like we did in the other tutorial, we're going to -1 from the other. And then at the end, we're going to actually move the player. We're going to say y plus equals y direction. So here, if we press the W key, that will be a 1. And if we don't press S, that will be 0. And it will do 0 minus 1, and that will move the player -1, which is up. If we press S, it will be 1 minus 0, so it will move the player 1, which is down. If we press both together, it'll be 1 minus 1, so we won't move. So let's just check this works. So I can move up and down. Now we can just walk through the map at the moment. We'll fix that in a second. Copy this code. We're going to do right and left. And we're going to do, for the right key, I think it's D, and for the left key, it's A. And I think it's left minus right. If it's the wrong, if I've done it the wrong way around, which I might have, we'll just switch it. Yes, it's probably the other way around. Oh, we haven't actually put the code in to move the player yet. So the X position, which is the horizontal axis, X direction. So, and that needs to be X direction as well. So let's just try that. Yes, it's the wrong way around. It's right minus left. So we'll check that, make sure it's correct. Yeah. Okay. It's because the left is this way, which is minus, and the right is put plus. But for the up and down, up is minus and down is plus, so it's the other way around. So that's why. So we can now move the character about. It's not amazing, but it's getting there. We can walk through the walls, so let's fix that. So we've checked the keyboard. Now check if wall. So we're going to use if place meet. So it's a built-in function. If there's a place meeting, we need, if you're not sure what to put in here, at the bottom, when you've started typing the function, it will tell you what you need. So we need an X coordinate, a Y coordinate, and an object. Now the object is going to be O wall. That's our wall object that we put on the map. Now we don't want to check where the player is. We want to check where the player is going to be. So we're going to need two of these. So this one is going to be for checking for a wall above us or below us. So what we're going to do is we're going to check in the Y direction plus the Y direction. And we're going to check it before we actually apply it. So what we're going to do is if you can't move, we're going to say that the Y direction is 0, that you literally can't move. I've missed a bracket off there. So we're going to check the new position that would get here. And if we can't move, we're going to set the new position to 0, so we won't actually move. And then we're going to do the same again. So copy the for left and right. We're going to check the Y direction is going to be the same, but we're now going to add on the X direction. And we'll set the X direction to 0. So now when we run it, we can't actually move through the wall. Now there is a slight problem, and that we can't get to the door, and it seems like we're quite away from the wall because of the perspective. So there's a quick fix for that, and it solves both problems at once, luckily. So let's go to the wall layer. So these are the actual physical walls that determine whether we've touched or not. So what I'm going to do, turn the grid off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shrink that up like this. We still can't walk through it. I could put it up there if we want. We still can't walk through it, but the character's head will come up to here now. So let's do the same on here. let's just move this up to maybe, is that the same? Yeah. And then the same for this one. So this will have quite a good impact on what we're doing. So I'm going to just rerun that. And now we can actually get quite close, or it appears that we're getting close to the wall. If I turn that layer off, run it again, it appears like we can get quite close to the wall, but actually we know that it's just a red box stopping us. But now we can get to the door as well. So on the walls layer, while I'm here, I'm going to create a new object. This object is going to be called O door, and the sprite will be that green box. So then going back to the room, what we're going to do is on the assets, make sure you're on the walls layer because we don't want to be able to see this. I'm just going to get the door and I'm going to put it here, and I'm just going to make it a bit smaller, maybe something like this. So it's just covering part of a door. So when the player touches this bit, this green rectangle, we'll be able to go to the next level. So we could actually try that. We could actually try that now. So the best way to try that is first of all, let's make a new room. So rather than make a whole new room and set it out all over again, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get this room and duplicate it. So it's now room 2. So room 1, room 2, and I'm going to edit room 2. So I'm going to actually leave the room pretty much the same. I'm just going to edit the tiles in the room editor. I'm just going to change it very, very slightly, just so we can actually see that it's a different room. So let's put a few of these in different places. Maybe some bit more detail. Let's put that there, and let's just change. Let's put some of these gargoyles on there, and then maybe some of these here. It's just so we know it's different. Yeah, there we go. We know that it's a different room. With the instances, I'm just also going to put these two over here, just so we know it's different. And let's move the player to start here. Something like that. We'll leave the door and everything the same. Obviously, we could have made a new map and moved all these walls and done all of that. But just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to demonstrate what would happen if we made a whole new map. I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that. So we've now got a new room. So let's go to the player object. We're going to add an event to the player, a collision, and we're going to say collide with door. So when we collide with door, we need to go to, is it go to? Yeah, room, go to, next. I'll just zoom in on that. So room, go to, next. So when we look at the rooms, if you double click on them, oops, not double click. If you click on the little house, the house means it's the starting screen of your game, and then they go in order, and you can move the order up or down, whichever you want them. So the next room will be room 2. So we can just simply keep going to the next room, and you can add as many as you want. So let's quickly test this out. So run the game. So let's just move the player. Boom. Now we've gone to the next room. Have I actually changed the rooms the wrong way around? Yeah, I've altered room 1 instead of room 2, but you can see the difference. So this is now room 1. We go into it, and then we'll go to, it goes to the next room where it's different. So the rooms and the doors working. Now when I go to the next door, it'll crash because we don't have a room 3. So obviously you'd have to fix that, and you'd have to have some ending screen or something. So we've got 2 rooms. This is now room 1, and that's now room 2 because I edited the wrong one. So room 1, we need to now get these potions so we can collect them. I'm just going to hide the walls. When I run the game, the potions don't do anything. So let's see if we can sort that out. So go back to the player. We'll do add event, collision, objects, potion. So what we'll do, I think it's instance destroy. I'm just looking at some of my notes. Yeah, it's instance destroy. Yeah, instance destroy. It's colliding with the other. So what this will actually do, so inside the player, when it collides with this object, it's going to destroy that object. So let's just test it works. Boom, boom. Okay, yeah. So it looks like we're collecting it, but nothing's happening. So we're going to actually draw the counter on the screen of what we've collected. So to do that, we're going to probably need some type of game manager that's going to manage the score across the levels. So the way I'm going to do that, in objects, we're going to create a new object. We'll call it O score. So in the score, we're going to, oops, there we are. On its, we're not going to have a graphic for it, but what we're going to do, we're going to go onto the create code, and we're going to give it a variable. So we'll call it potions. Potion, have I spelled that right? Potions equals 0. I'll put a semicolon on. So we're just going to give it a variable. So this is going to be a variable for this object. And it's going to be set to 0 when each potion, when this object is created. The next thing we need to do is draw this on the screen. So I'm going to go to add event. I'm going to go to the draw GUI event. And in the draw GUI event, we're going to draw some text. So we're going to, I'm just going to move that out of the way. We're going to draw, I think it's draw underscore text. So again, if you're not sure, you can look each command up. We need an X, a Y, and a string. So the string is going to be string potions. So what I'm doing, actually, let's do this that way. Let's call this potions, then a space plus string potions. So the reason for this string is potions is a number, and we can't add or join or concatenate a word, a string, and a number. So we have to change it or cast it into a string. So we're going to draw that on the screen. Now, we need to add this potion, this score object to the game. So on the first map, we're going to get the score object. We need to put it on an instance layer. So let's get that. I'm just going to put it down here. Now, where it goes on the screen doesn't really matter. I'm going to put it here for a reason. But what we need to do, something quite important, is we need to go into that object and we need to click persistent. And what that will do is it will make that object exist throughout the whole game. We only need to put it on that one room. So let's go back into the room. So if I run the game now, I'm hoping it's going to draw the score on. Yes, it does. Now, it's here and it's quite small. So there's two things we need to do to put it where we want and to fix it. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a new font. So in fonts, create font. We'll call this F score. Font F for font, and then the name of it. And all I'm going to simply do is just make the font bigger. Let's do size 20 and close it. Then we'll go back into this draw text, and I think we can do this in the create one. We can, I think it's font set. Let me just check my notes. Yes, draw. It's draw set font, and then we can put the name of the font, which is F score. So this is why we name them, so that when you're typing, you can type F and it'll bring up the fonts. So now we're setting the font. So that will fix the size problem. There we go, that's bigger. But we need to draw it in the right place. Now this is because when we look at the map, the map size is 256 pixels, but the actual viewport is actually much bigger. It's 672 down here. So the GUI uses the viewport rather than the actual map. So what we need to do inside the score object, in its draw event, you can actually use these as well to switch between them. The X position is how many pixels across from the left. Let's just put 20. And then Y is how many pixels down from the top. So we're using the height of the viewport window, which is 672. So I'm going to put 630 as a guess and see if it's roughly down at the bottom where I want it. And that's fine. I'm going to leave it like that. So now when we collect the potions, nothing happens because we've not told it to update this score. So go back into the potion, into the player. On the where we collide with the potion, before we actually destroy the potion, we could just update the score object. So the object is O score dot potions. This is the variable in that object, and we're going to add plus equals 1. So it should add 1 to the potion score. And boom, there we go, potions 1, potions 2. And if we go to the next room, it keeps the score because that object is persistent. And so on. So that's working. Let me just turn that red overlay off on that second room. Don't think I've got it on the first room, have I? No. So we're nearly there. Let's just quickly add a bat in the next episode. So I'll see you in the next one.